and will be culminating in a short while at the Varanasi Collectorate. Just yesterday, Arvind Kejriwal had criticized both Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi for what he termed as helicopter democracy. And this very helicopter democracy had been the point of contention for the Aam Aadmi Party, and now it seems like Narendra Modi arriving in a helicopter, but in a grand manner as he kick-started his grand show. These are scenes that you are witnessing live from Varanasi, that Narendra Modi is waving to his fans who gathered there. This was right next to the Vivekananda statue that he garlanded. Over 3 statues that he stopped by. One that of freedom fighter Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, one that of thinker Swami Vivekananda, and another that of B.R. Ambedkar. We'll slip into a short break now, but stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, just a couple of minutes from now, we could be looking at Narendra Modi finally going ahead and filing his nomination. It's been a long wait, of course, keeping in mind that over 2 lakh people are estimated to have gathered on the streets of Varanasi to welcome Narendra Modi. In fact, he was expected to file his nomination by 12:10, but there's been almost a 1-hour delay due to that unanticipated crowd that has gathered. The convoy is struggling to move along. This was a 2-kilometer stretch, but it's taken several hours for Narendra Modi's convoy to move on in that huge crowd. But he's almost reached his destination. Of course, we will be looking at him reaching Kacheri anytime now and filing his nomination. Remember, he will have a boatman, a weaver, a singer, as well as a retired judge as his proposers for his nomination. But of course, an overwhelming response to Narendra Modi there. As you can see, this is at the district collectorate's office, and once again security being heightened there, keeping in mind the crowds. They will have to ensure that not too many people enter that particular office, and it won't be an easy task looking at the number of people who have gathered on the streets. Barricades have been put in place to ensure they do not enter within a certain amount of distance of the collectorate office. And of course, strict security arrangements being made to ensure that everything is in place at the district collector's office as well. Well, Narendra Modi was expected to file his nomination by about 12:10 p.m. but a considerable delay there due to the fact that huge crowds, over 2 lakh people, have gathered out there to go ahead and welcome Narendra Modi. And of course, we'll have to wait and watch to see if this translates to votes, but the entire city of Varanasi being painted in saffron today to go ahead and welcome Narendra Modi. He also made several pit stops to not just interact with the people but also garland different statues. A very symbolic move there by the BJP, by Modi, by garlanding the statue of Madan Mohan Malviya and Swami Vivekananda, B.R. Ambedkar, and of course Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. and he has made a very clear-cut mention that he is reaching out to all communities, to all people. Well, that is where the district collector's office stands, so the people not being allowed to move past that. Barricades have been put in place to ensure that people do not enter beyond that particular distance, and as you can see, the convoy is having a hard time veering through those huge crowds. They have in fact a couple of vehicles there which are trying to clear the way, security trying to ensure that people move to the side so Narendra Modi can go ahead and file his nomination. It's definitely doesn't look like an easy task up ahead. As you can see there, the people are refusing to move. They're all trying to go ahead and catch a glimpse of Narendra Modi. Over 2 lakh people are estimated to have gone ahead and taken to the roads there in anticipation of Narendra Modi. An overwhelming response, no doubt. The BJP, of course, has made it very clear and left no stone unturned to ensure that all goes well, that it is a grand show of strength, and that's exactly what they pulled off here in Varanasi. The first time around we had seen this was in Vadodara when Modi was filing his nomination, but that being in Gujarat, of course, there was a lot of talk of the kind of support he does receive there, and now this time around here in Varanasi as well, the response is pretty much the same. And hopefully within the next few minutes we could be looking at Modi going ahead and filing his nomination. An unprecedented crowd there, and all of them coming together to go ahead and welcome Narendra Modi. In fact, we understand that in a build-up to the roadshow, people from different states, in fact, have gathered there in the saffron attire to crowd the 2-kilometer route from the Banaras Hindu University all the way to the collectorate office. He made multiple stops, of course, on the way to interact with people, and in at least 3 places he garlanded statues as well. And of course, it is supposedly going to be a very, very important day for the BJP, not just Narendra Modi, but the BJP as well. And once again, going into exactly who will be proposing his name, one is, of course, Giridhar Malviya, the retired judge of the Allahabad High Court, and more importantly, the grandson of the Banaras Hindu University founder, Madan Mohan Malviya, who was a 4-time president of the Congress. Besides that, Chandulal Mishra, noted classical Hindustani singer, boatman Veerbhadra Nishad, and Ashok, who represents the weaver community, will be coming together to go ahead and propose Modi's nomination. Right, what you see on your screens are also live visuals from the collectorate office where Narendra Modi is expected to reach. As you can see, security arrangements here as well are airtight. They are trying to ensure that no unnecessary people do enter, and keeping in mind, of course, that the media frenzy also along with that. Through this incident, we will be looking at the security having a tough task in their hands. They have been struggling to keep the crowds at bay in this 2-kilometer stretch of Narendra Modi's roadshow. It's not been an easy task for them, considering that it was an overwhelming response, but finally it looks like Modi's convoy has managed to make its way through that huge crowd. He is still a little away from the collectorate office, but will reach in the next 5 minutes or so, is what we understand. And of course, entire city of Varanasi painted saffron as lakhs of BJP workers have poured out on the streets to welcome Narendra Modi. The sound of conch shells filling the air, the sound of Har Har Modi, and several other Modi slogans are filling the air in Varanasi. It seems to be an air of jubilation, of celebration of sorts, and everyone coming together to go ahead and celebrate the fact that Narendra Modi is in the holy city. And several people have also stated that this doesn't necessarily have to translate to votes, keeping in mind that a lot of these people have come from different states as well to go ahead and show their support for Narendra Modi. And of course, he has been accompanied by Amit Shah and Lakshmikant Bajpai in his roadshow. And as I mentioned earlier, security arrangements are airtight to ensure that nothing untoward takes place. We saw a similar show of strength by the BJP in Vadodara when Narendra Modi had filed his nomination there as well. Of course, things were a lot smoother than it was anticipated that huge crowds would gather, but Varanasi by far has taken the cake. They have outdone themselves, outdone the entire country, in fact, with the kind of support that they have shown, a kind of frenzy over Narendra Modi. And of course, while a lot of people are quite clearly stating that it is mostly BJP workers out there on the streets, there's no doubt that this will definitely send a shiver down the spine of the other parties who are contesting from that particular constituency. And the collectorate office waiting in anticipation for Narendra Modi's arrival. As you can see, all the officials as well as others are present. They're waiting for him to go ahead and arrive for filing his nomination. Only, of course, the commissioner will be allowed inside the DC, and besides which all other people will have to wait outside. It will be Narendra Modi as well as his four proposers who will enter that particular room. And a very carefully chosen date as well. We have to keep in mind that today is the day that several parts of the country have gone into polls, and keeping that in mind, it looks like Modi has decided that he will anyway go ahead and file his nomination. We will be looking, of course, at Varanasi going into polls on 12th May. It will be one of the last few constituencies to go into polls, and this one, of course, will be very, very crucial.
सवाल पूछवाइए सवाल हेलो हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी
And it looks like Narendra Modi may have arrived at the collectorate office after that particular roadshow. Modi, of course, will be now filing his nomination.